hello and welcome to another episode of Where Do We Begin? And we've got a very different one today. We've got a couple of mates. Their name is Adam and Symon, and they're known for Gogglebox, and they've got a couple of podcasts as well, but they love their footy, and that's why I've got them on. Hey, Jackson.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit different this week. Obviously not as interviewee as normal, but a great chat with these great guys nonetheless.
We just finished recording it, and it was like, yeah, they're so down to earth and lovely chat. So without further ado, should we just get straight into it?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, now we're super excited to have these guests on. They've got a footy podcast called He's Been Doing It All Day, and we've used that as a bit of an excuse to get them on just because they seem like great guys to talk to. So they're also known for the Adam and Symon Show, their other podcast, and being Adam and Symon from Gogglebox. So would you believe it? It's Adam and Symon. Welcome, boys.
Thank you for having us. That's good. I like that a lot. Would you?
I'll tell you what,
I
can confirm that we are known for being Adam and Symon. Our mums have been calling us Adam and Symon since we've been born, so we have been known to be Adam and Symon for a long time now.
Ages.
Yeah, you'd think it'd be strange if you were known as anything else.
Plot twist, we're not actually Adam and Symon. Our names are Tim and Tom, but they just liked it better for the show. It was a bit more, had a bit better ring to it, so they went with Adam and Symon.
Symon with a Y as well. Got like you don't hear it, but Symon with a Y just adds that extra flavour to it, you know.
Mate, it's a show name. It's a stage name. You know how it is.
Beyonce. He's like Beyonce.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get a little bit different.
Yeah, mix it up, but. Boys, we're all in lockdown at the moment. We're all in Melbourne. So how have we been going in lockdown?
We're both physios, so we're at the moment considered essential. So we've still been working normally, but I mean, I feel like we've ticked every other box off. Like I've made bread at home. We've homemade pasta. I've done puzzles. Someone bought me 10 kilos of clay for my birthday, hoping that I'd make some clay. So like, I mean, that's still there to do. But it's also lucky that there's just been 3 weeks or almost 6 weeks straight of footy, which my partner is starting to get sick of.
Yeah, what about you, Symon? How have you been in lockdown?
Mate, well, as Adam said, physiotherapist, so we're essential service. So I've still been working, which has been nice. I've actually started watching The Office, which I've never seen before. And there's like 30 episodes every season. So I'm up to season 7, and that's taken up a large chunk of Lockdown 2.0.
It's the US one, which I'm guessing?
Yep, US one. Yeah, I couldn't cop the English one. It was too awkward for me. It made me cringe. It made me too uncomfortable.
Has got a bit of that about it.
Couldn't handle it.
I think that's just the beauty of English comedy, to be totally honest. Like, I was watching Friday Night Dinner, and it's exactly the same. My sister was like, this is too cringe for me. I can't watch it.
Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable. Like, Fleabag did the same thing.
Oh no. Oh, don't even get me started on Fleabag. Yeah, I've been watching Seinfeld, so it's sort of the same thing. I never really watched it from start to finish, so
I like it. Where are you up to?
Season 6 now.
Very good. My partner Rach and I started a French spy drama called The Bureau on SBS On Demand purely because it went for 5 seasons and there were 10 episodes a season. So we're like, great, here's 50 hours of TV that we'll be able to watch that will be able to knock off some time of this lockdown. And so far we've watched about 40 of the hours. So, I mean, things are going all right from our end.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the footy before. You're North and Brisbane fans, so going a bit of variation in the ladder-wise. So, Symon, what have you made of your team so far?
Yeah, it's been a tough year, mate. Yeah. It's been a tough year. There's no other way to put it. 'Cause I was talking to someone about that this is like the first year in my life that North Melbourne have been truly not good. Like we usually, all through the 90s, dominant force, unstoppable machines. And then through like the early 2000s, we were okay. We kind of sat between like 13th and maybe 7th, and we just did that for 10 years. And then it's only this year where you watch and like I go in expecting not to win. I'm still hopeful, but I don't think we will win. And that's the first time. So that's been a bit weird to get used to. But it's a bit freeing too. Because for a long time, I was actually hoping, because we were middle table, and then we'd get rid of some players and I'd say, all right, this is the year we're truly going to be bad and I can de-invest. But then we would finish 9th. I'm like, oh, right, I'm in again. So now we're bottom of the ladder. So it's quite good. You just get to enjoy it, and you get to enjoy the moments rather than enjoying the entire game.
That's so depressing.
Doesn't it sound fun to be a North supporter at the moment? But look, with the future's bright for us. Future's bright. Cam Zerhard, Jai Simpkin, mate, we got guns.
It seemed like as Symon was explaining that you would get to enjoy moments rather than games, that as you were saying that out loud, you realised how depressing it sounded. It just a little bit inside you died.
It's exactly what happened. It was devastating, but that's okay. That's all right. Who do you guys go for?
I'm a Bombers man. I was just about to say, I don't think I've told Jackson this before, but I've had a hatred for North Melbourne ever since 2014. You guys had 2 goals to halftime in the final. Essendon's been shit like all my life. We haven't won a final since I was like 1 or 2.
So
and you guys came back from like 5 goals down or something to beat us. And I've just been crushed ever since then. I've got a hatred for North Melbourne.
And this is the thing. This is like why it was so enjoyable, because like 2014 we weren't supposed to be any good, and then finals roll around and we roll the Bombers. It was the best. I was sitting in the Great Southern Stand about halfway up. Oh, it was a beautiful experience.
Drew Petrie, the 2 goals.
That was Frank the Tank, or Drew the Tank, with the celebration. That it's funny how you say, it makes me feel quite old, Harper, when you say that you have a hatred for the Roos because of how they stiffed your Bombers in 2014. But I have a hatred for the Roos because they were good in the late 90s when I was young, and I was like, Jesus Christ, that makes me feel proper old.
I'm a big Pies fan, so this year I think I don't know about this year, because we could just sort of sneak into the finals and then do a Bulldogs, but I don't know. Because we're starting to get all the guns back at the moment. But yeah, I've just sort of been in like that middle range for the last few years. And then when we came back in 2018, that was just a shock, to be totally honest.
That was great. So Adam and I went to that grand final against West Coast, and I distinctly remember about 2 minutes to go, you guys had the ball at centre half back. You kicked it out to that left flank where Dom Sheed did the damage. And I remember turning to Adam, there was 2 minutes to go, and I said, Collingwood are going to win the grand final. They're going to be premiers. And then
that I was there too.
And then you kicked it, and there was about 4 kicks down, and then McGovern took that mark, and it just bounced back, and then it was absolute. You're like, yeah, no, I saw the game.
Main Under was blocked. That's all I'm saying. Main Under was blocked.
How'd you guys get tickets to that game? Were it like through Gogglebox, or what was it?
Yeah, we were lucky enough to be guests, I think. How did we? Oh, no, Fox Footy, I think, because we'd done some work with Fox. Yeah, so we did the longest kick down by the Yarra, and then we just happened to be able to sneak through more so. We just sort of ask where we can go, and then if people say no, we say, yeah, fair enough. But if they don't reply or say yes, then we tend to take that as a yes.
Yeah, I think I got tickets in the draw where you can apply for them. So, but yeah, that's the first grand final loss I've seen, which is shit. But it's a grand final nonetheless.
You got there. Yeah. Got that.
Mate, that's true Essendon supporter. Oh, you got there. Yeah. That's a good effort.
Yeah,
do you guys follow Harper? Do you follow the Twitter page days since the Essendon Football Club won a final? And it ticks over every day.
Come up.
Every day a new tweet that just says a number. It's up to like 2,437 or something at the moment. It's wild.
Whenever there's like a significant loss or a finals loss, I get bombarded with screenshots of the Twitter page, and it's just it's sad.
So why do you think it is that people love to hate the Essendon supporters?
Jackson, you can probably speak for that more than me because you're a Collingwood fan.
I don't even know. My experience with Essendon supporters is always Anzac Day, and so when I'm at the G, I'm always standing behind the opposition members anyway. So I always stand, and yeah, it always ends up being like behind the opposition members, and we just give it to them the whole game. And it's always these old little ladies, like, can you imagine knitting their scarves and stuff? And they just like come back with like swearing and stuff. So that's my experience with Essendon supporters, and you obviously, Harper. But other than that, I don't mind them.
Yeah, I think lots of people hate Essendon as well because of that dominant period in the 80s. And we won like 2 grand finals then. And then they had the 2000 season where we just like smashed everyone. And yeah,
It's funny how you say that but people don't have the same vitriolic hate for Hawthorn that they have for Essendon. Like people proper hate Essendon. But Hawthorn was super successful in the 80s as well. And then they've been successful since 2008 except for this year. But people don't hate them like they hate Essendon.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. I fucking hate Hawthorn myself, but obviously I don't hate Essendon. So, like, Hawthorn's just always had this yucky kind of thing about him. I don't know if it's like the poos and wees or who knows, but it's like, yeah, don't like the Hawks.
I think it's got to be because I reckon it must be geographically located because Hawthorn is close to like Richmond and Collingwood. All of their home grounds were relatively close, whereas Essendon, Windy Hill was always a long way away. So I reckon it must be like a city divide that the people over in the northwest sort of think they're a different breed, I reckon.
Toorak of the West, Essendon is. That's what they say. and that exact sentence is why people hate Essendon supporters.
I mean, I don't really hold a hatred for any other team but Carlton. So I think I hate Carlton so much that every other team is just sort of insignificant compared to them.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'm certainly building a hatred towards Richmond. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, to be honest, I've got a bit of a hatred for every team because every team has smashed Essendon at some point in my life or in a big final or like I've started to hate West Coast because I went over to Perth for the final last year. So got an absolute hatred for West Coast and their feral fans. Big shout out to any of them if they're listening.
If any of my family are listening, I have like a few Richmond cousins, so I've supported them in their grand finals, but during the season, I just don't like them.
It's like, I'm happy for you, the person, not your team.
Yeah,
fair
exactly.
enough. Yeah, I think that's pretty.
And then whenever Collingwood loses, they just give it to me. So,
yeah.
Everyone can give it to a Collingwood fan. Everyone hates Collingwood, really. But we're recording this on a Saturday, and it's probably going to be out on Monday, the 14th. We're thinking. So there's still a bit to happen in terms of the finals. So who have we all got for premiers so far? Oh, our prediction, Adam. Who have you got?
I think it has to be Richmond. I just think that they're a genuine step above. I was talking to a mate about it today, and we said that we feel like Port Adelaide have sort of hit their ceiling, and they're playing just about as good as they can play. They don't really have another gear to go to. Brisbane might be lucky to win. Well, not lucky. You're never really lucky to win a premiership, but with the finals being in Brisbane, if they can get a couple of games at the Gabba, then they'll certainly go a long way. And then I know Geelong's got Gary to come back, but I just still feel like Richmond have got another gear.
Yeah, and you're a Brisbane fan, of course. So tell us a bit about how your fanaticism, is that a word? Your fanaticism of Brisbane came about.
Well, my family are Fitzroy fans, like old Fitzroy fans. My grandpa was born in Rose Street in Fitzroy, so right in the heart of Fitzroy. So we've always been Fitzroy fans, and then Dad obviously gave me no choice. So not that, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm more than happy to be a Brisbane supporter. I actually just read a book about the death of the Fitzroy Football Club. That's the title by Russell Holmesby. It's quite depressing if you're a Fitzroy supporter because the club died a very slow and painful death without any assistance from the AFL. But then followed it up and then had some pretty good years. So, I mean, I'm luckier than any Saints supporter out there, that's for sure, or D supporter for that matter.
Yeah, more than definitely. Simon, what about you in terms of premiership hopefuls?
Yeah, so I was all about the Cats up until last night. So last night was Richmond versus Geelong, and I kind of was saying to people at work that Richmond could win by 10 goals or they could lose, and neither would surprise me so that's kind of, to answer your question, I think it's got to be Richmond again, just because they've been bored all year. Like the first 5 rounds, they just kind of played like we just can't really be bothered. Like it's all a bit too hard. And then whenever there's a clutch moment though, they just go bang, game over. Bang, here's 6 goals. Bang, here's like whatever, we'll just stop you, keep whatever it might be. They just kind of always have the answer. So it is a boring answer, but I think Richmond probably look the best at the moment. But I would like to see Geelong win. I don't want to see Port Adelaide win or Brisbane win because they just haven't paid their dues enough, I don't. I don't think they've, and Adam would be unbearable if Brisbane won. So I just can't have that in my life. Or the doggies, I want someone to come from the deep. The Saints would be nice. The Dogs would be good, but I think it might be, it's going to be Richmond, unfortunately, in a very boring turn of events.
How would you feel, Adam, if Brizzy won the grand final and you weren't there to see it?
Yeah, I was just about to say, if they won the grand final, I'd be devastated because I wouldn't be able to be in the crowd. So because we'll probably at this stage be watching the grand final in our homes by ourselves. If the Lions are in it, I'll be a nervous wreck all day, and then I'll probably cry regardless of the result. If I ever need a nice little emotional cathartic cry, I just put on the end of the final 2 minutes of Brisbane's 52-point comeback against the Cats and watch Ash McGrath's goal after the siren with Hutto commentating, and without fail, I cry every time.
Oh, yeah, classic moment. I rewatch that sometimes. It's so good. Like, the AFL's got a video on YouTube, every goal in the comeback. That's my go-to. Essendon haven't had many great moments over the years, so I've got Brisbane as my go-to.
Is your that version of that video for Essendon that smashing of the Gold Coast Suns when they were the second year in?
Kyle Reaver's 7 goals, something like that. That was a great game. We had 95 points at quarter time. It was never forget it.
Just a merciless belting, brilliant.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, didn't Harper's eyes just glaze over them when he just remembered the moment of Essendon being so far up at quarter time? I just put him to his full happy
Glory
place.
days.
Glory days.
Yeah, he's just got that video as his screensaver, just all the time sees that score.
Exactly. My ringtone is just the commentary of Kyle Reames' 7th. It's
That's good.
I can't think of many other great Essendon moments. We had the Anzac Day 2009, of course, but
Zaharakis, you star, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
That was a very good one. I remember I was at the Williamstown Lacrosse Club. It was belting down rain.
Yeah.
And the game, I reckon we'd shortened the game by, we'd shortened the quarters because it was just raining, and we're standing next to the ocean. This game, it's freezing cold. This sucks. We're at the bottom. You're at the top. Let's just finish this game and we'll just watch the footy. And then everyone was inside watching that game. And I was standing next to my Collingwood supporter friend. He was heartbroken. It was very funny to watch.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was there, and it wasn't great.
No, it wasn't nice.
That's one of my first footy memories, I think.
Yeah.
So I was 6 years old, so I remember jumping up and down and right at the top in the belting rain. It was great. But probably
what about the
better than that for a while.
What about the Essendon versus Hawthorn line in the sand game? Do you ever watch that video? Richie Vandenberg going bananas?
Yeah, I have seen that, but the Essendon Hawthorn memory I've got is Lloyd absolutely smashing Sewell in 2009.
Same game.
Yes.
Same game.
Right, same game.
That's why it happened.
Yeah. I thought you were talking. Wasn't there one in the 80s as well? The line in the sand game? Or is that?
No, the famous the line in the sand, the one where Lloyd lays out Sewell, is because I think Dermot Brereton went into the rooms at before the game and was like, Hawthorn, we need to draw a line in the sand here and show them who we are. I'm actually surprised, Harper, that you haven't brought up the Essendon versus Kangaroos 2001 round 16 comeback.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I wasn't alive for that one, but that was good. I watched it on the Fox Footy replay when they did the 50 games. Did you guys tune into that? When they did the 50 best games? That was really good. I really enjoyed that.
Mate, that would have been early 2000s and 90s football was ultimate. So good because the quality was really good, but all of the players were still plumbers. So it was just plumbers who were getting paid heaps to play football. So because at the start of the 90s, it wasn't full professionalism just yet, but then that kind of changed mid-90s, and then they were all just 100% professionals, but they still were just quote-unquote men by the stereotype, that 80s stereotype, whereas now they're footballers. So they're no, I'm an athlete. I'm going to make career-based decisions not punching this guy because it's good to stay in the team. Whereas mid-90s, they just do whatever they want because they're well, no, because I'm playing football because I like it and my mates are here and I'll drink stubbies after the game, and it's very interesting games to watch. And Wayne Carey played and he's the GOAT, so there you go.
Much more of a dickhead mentality.
Yes, very, very much so. Very much so. Just a bunch of meatheads. It was great. Here's a game for you can watch, the Marshmallow game, North Melbourne versus Essendon.
Yeah.
That was great.
You beat us that one, didn't you?
Yes, we certainly did. I was at that game in the
one side.
I was in the Ponsford stand. Kevin Sheedy walked down from the box, and then the whole crowd just launched marshmallows at him. It was awesome.
What year's that? 01, maybe?
Oh, nah, I think that might have been 90s, I reckon.
90s? Right, yeah.
Yeah, late 90s. 98 or something like that.
And you were at the game. Harper was still years from being alive.
Perfect. Yeah. Just a heads up, we're probably not coming back on this podcast because my ego's taking too much of a hit.
In terms of my premiership favourites, I don't know. I feel it could be the year of just another Bulldogs. Someone, just with the way the season's been going, it's like anything could happen.
Yes.
So I reckon if you're in the finals, you just have a chance. No, like usually like, you don't give 7 or 8 much of a chance. I reckon everyone's on equal pegging at the moment because like the games could be anywhere. You don't know what to expect at the moment, and especially with like such low scores in the AFL at the moment, anyone can win it. I reckon. I honestly don't have a favourite, and like just hoping Collingwood get in there and get a few players back, and we'll give Richmond a run for their money.
It's kind of crazy, isn't it? Because you can almost win a game with 6 goals.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's like, fellas, we can kick 6 goals. Like, kicking 6 goals is easy. It's like not even 2 goals a quarter. Fellas, we can do that. And then, mate, everyone's in with a shot.
I mean, have you really watched Collingwood? So,
yeah, well, except for Collingwood, you guys might not be in with a shot, but no.
Hodgie's called for the quarters in the finals to go back for 20 minutes, which I think is a good idea.
I definitely think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I reckon that's a good idea, to be totally honest.
Why? Talk to me about this, guys. Why do you think it's a good idea, Harper?
Oh, well, like the short quarters, I think it just, you don't get the players as tired at the end of the games, especially early in the season when there weren't games every 4 days or whatever. But yeah, just more footy, you know? Can't hate more footy.
Brilliant.
What do you guys think of the night grand final? Ooh. The thing that nobody wants, but everybody's going to get.
Yeah, I think we were going to get onto that, but I'm not a massive fan. I just hope they change it back next year. What about you, Jackson?
I'm into it. I don't know. It's something different. Like this season's different, so why not do it? Test it out. This like the argument's been going on for years. Why not test it out this year and see how it goes?
The problem is if you test it out this year and it absolutely rates its head off, which it will because everyone's inside, it'll provide ammunition to make it a permanent change.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, that's where you kind of, because realistically a night grand final logistically is a better option. So it's at night. The weather changes somewhat, but it's much more of a spectacle. Fireworks instantly become part of the pre-game. Like the post-game then becomes a bit of a party. The pre-game becomes a party, like more atmosphere. It's going to be better for ratings. So all of those reasons it's better. But as a fan experience going to the game, daytime is always going to win. But, you know, you're catering for 100,000 people versus 2 million people. So like when you weigh it up, that's why they're going to – so you kind of can't give them a taste because then they'll go, oh, this was so good, let's do that. And you're like, damn it, this sucks.
Right.
They've consistently done surveys of fans about asking them when they want the grand final to be, and almost unanimously people go, yeah, just keep it at 3:20.
Yep.
It's perfect. I can like wake up, I'm excited, and then I can have my barbecue with my mates, have a couple of beers, then I can start watching the footy, and then the footy's done, and then I can have dinner and then talk about the game afterwards. Whereas if you're watching a game that starts at 7:30, it's finished at 10:30, and then if you party afterwards, like you're genuinely seeing the sun up, and you only want to see the sun up if your team wins. You don't want everyone to see the sun up.
The unfortunate thing is though, then when you're like putting down the times for, like, we're all football fans, so we'll watch it if they put it at 10 in the morning, and we'll watch it if it's at 9 at night. But if you're like just the regular average punter in New South Wales or Queensland or whoever, if a game's on at 2:30, you're like, yeah, I got the day off. It's Saturday. I just probably am not going to watch this. I'll walk around. But 7:30 on a Saturday night, when everyone you know is watching a game, you're like, hey, I might go to the pub and I'll watch it. Or I'll just turn it on, and then you just get those ratings up and up and up, and then you can charge more and more money. So it's kind of never about those diehard fans. They get less of a say, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I probably only watch the NRL grand final because it's on at night.
Correct.
Yeah, and like there's no way I'd be watching the NRL Grand Final if it's on at like 1. It's the only game I watch in the season, and it's just way better logistically, like you say.
Yeah, I just hope it goes back. 320 is great. 320 is like absolute prime time.
Yeah,
absolute. But I do appreciate the whole reach, and it's better for because like if you live over in Perth, and then the grand final starts at 3, it actually starts at 1. Yeah. Whereas if they have the grand final starting at 6:30 Brizzy time, which they will, it'll start at 4:30, which is probably a better time for Perth as well.
Yeah, we've talked about the sport supporting a lot, so maybe we'll get onto the sport playing a bit. Symon, you mentioned lacrosse before. Do you still play that?
I do, mate. I do.
How'd you get into that?
Niche.
Indeed.
Adam's really jealous.
Such a niche sport.
Adam's really jealous because he can't play sport anymore because he's too concussed. So he likes to take it out on me, and that's okay, mate. Whatever you have to do to get through is fine, okay? Because I'm still an active participant in competitive sports. So my dad used to play lacrosse when he was a kid. So, and then lacrosse it's a bit like Game of Thrones in that, like, each club has one family that's like the family that kind of looks after it all. So I play for Brunswick and my mum is the president. And for a long portion of the time, my uncle was the head coach and then I was the captain. So that...
What Symon's trying to say is he's the Targaryen of Brunswick.
We don't win, mate, and we're not rich. That's more Williamstown. They're the Targaryens.
Right.
Yeah, we're more like... I mean, look, we're the kings of the north, you know? That's our name. I think I've actually got a T-shirt on right now that says Kings of the North.
The Stark family.
Yep.
I probably wouldn't say you're the Stark family either. You're the Greyjoys.
Oh, yeah, from the water, and like no one really takes any care of us, and we're disrespected often, but we've got heart. I reckon that's probably pretty close. I reckon that's pretty close.
Strikes me as a very private school sport, but did you go to like Brunswick Secondary or private school, or where'd you go?
No, I went to school where I grew up, Densten and Symon College. So just so that's the thing about lacrosse is in America it's very, upper class private school sport, but in Australia it's played by probably people who were no good at footy. So
niche people. Yeah. People who love niche sports.
Mate, unless you go to Williamstown where it's just like level pegging with football. So you can play lacrosse or football and you're not teased by your friends.
Yeah, we mentioned my dad very briefly before we started recording. He actually teaches there. He works there.
At where?
Densten and College.
What's your dad's name?
He's a guitar teacher and his name's Tony, or maybe you call him Mr. Payne. I don't know.
No, I'd never took the guitar, unfortunately, but that's small world, mate. Small world. There you go, hey?
Which campus? Were you Essendon campus, I guess? Or?
Well, yeah, Essendon campus for year 11 and 12, and then Nidri campus for below that. I actually took my girlfriend there. She'd never been that way. She's from the eastern suburbs, and I took her to show her my high school when I was a kid, and I turned up and it had been bulldozed. So that was a pretty fun day. It's just like a mound of dirt. Like, all right, I guess they're rebuilding this school. I'm clearly well in touch.
I've been talking about niche sports. The listeners will know, but Harper and I know each other through futsal, so indoor soccer.
Yes.
A little bit more niche than outdoor soccer. I guess everyone sort of plays that, whereas futsal is like it's the little younger cousin. That's how we know each other. Adam, what did you play growing up?
So I'm from the north. I'm from northeast Victoria.
He's from New South Wales.
Yeah.
So far north and so far east, it's New South Wales.
Yeah. So I'm from the New South Wales side of the border. So footy was always the sport up there. I mean, I played cricket and tennis and stuff as a kid, like most kids in the country do, because you got nothing else to do. So you may as well play all the sports under the sun. But yeah, footy and a little bit of golf, and I mean, really whatever we could get our hands on up there.
Yeah, and the concussions, that doesn't sound too good. Symon mentioned them. Was that from footy or what was that from?
Yeah, footy, mate. It's surprising because my footy theory was always that every farmer needs a sheepdog, and so I was not known for getting the hard ball. Yet I still managed to. I think it's either 3 or 4. I mean, it's probably says enough that I can't remember whether it's 3 or 4 concussions. But there was one where I got pulled down out of a pack, knocked out with my head hitting the ground. One copped a hip to the head, picking the ball up. One copping a forearm to the back of the head with a cheap shot. And then someone slid in and gave me a knee to the head. So they're probably the only 4 hard balls I ever got in my life, and I probably got concussed on every single one of them. So, I mean, I don't have any symptoms or anything. I don't have any, not that I'm aware of. Maybe my fuse is a bit shorter, but you'd probably have to ask Simon or my partner for that. But I was never that good. I was never going to make the big league, so I figured it was better off to give it up than try and persist through.
Well, you're following the footsteps of Jonathan Brown, so at least you got that, you know?
Exactly.
I mean, I've got like 2 or 3 concussions just playing futsal, so I can't imagine how I'd go at footy. So,
futsal, which one of you two is the striker? I mean, everyone's a striker in futsal because you just sort of have shots from no matter where you are on the ground. But who's the star?
I mean, we've never actually played together. What's funny is that I used to coach Harper.
Yeah.
Right.
What's Harper's strong suit and weak suit?
360 feedback. Let's do it. Something he does well, something he does poorly, something he should continue doing.
I mean, so from what I remember, he was in my older group age, and he was always the one at the back who'd set up play. The only thing I would say is just he wouldn't shoot.
Interesting.
And Harper, how did Jackson go as a coach? Something he was good at, something he wasn't so good at, something that he should keep doing?
Well, how long ago was it, do you reckon, that you were coaching me? Like 3 or 4
2 or
years
3
at
years
least,
ago.
I reckon.
Yeah.
Harper's stalling. Harper's stalling.
His enthusiasm was like, that was...
Technically, he was terrible, but enthusiastic.
Man, everything he said was up and about.
That was the standout thing. But like, maybe, I can't really remember a weakness, to be honest. He was always my favourite coach. Like, he was a good guy, but weakness, going for Collingwood, bit of a weakness, but in terms of coaching, I don't really know. Yeah, but Jackson plays like top level now, so he's playing for best team in the state, pretty much, I think.
What's that team called?
So I play for Fitzroy, which is pretty ironic because in the AFL they don't exist anymore. But yeah, we all play out at Thomastown, and I've just joined. Well, they're technically not the best team. Like the club hasn't won the league in a few seasons, but top 3 definitely.
Right.
But yeah, I was playing for my old team when I got tackled, and then as I was getting up, someone was running behind me.
Oh no!
And as I was getting up, knee to the side of the head. So that was my last concussion.
Oh
that was pretty much the worst one.
Yeah,
good one.
Knees and heads are not supposed to go together.
Yeah, no.
How'd you feel after the concussion, or how much do you remember of it?
So I was on the floor, and then I got up, and I didn't feel much. And then I played the rest of the game, and then as I was heading home, I was just like, oh, I can't. I've got a massive headache now. I can't do it anymore. I've got to like. I think I took a week off work because I just couldn't like function a little bit after that. Yeah, it was just like I was just dizzy a lot. So I mean, that's what concussions are, really. So
brain damage. Yikes.
Welcome to the club.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's so wild.
And now when I play pub footy, I'm going to have to wear a helmet. So I'm pretty keen for that.
Let's get into this. Who are you playing pub footy for?
So I play for the Tote.
Do you? So do you ever go to training?
Once every few trainings.
Hilarious. Defeats the purpose of pub footy. I know. It's a
exactly.
oxymoron, but
well, they end up being on the same day as futsal. So
right. So the Tote train at the same field as my lacrosse club.
Right. Yeah, I think I see the lacrosse players like.
That's me, bro.
Great.
That's me. Had we have known each other, you could have come and said hello. But
you could have come. You could play for mate. The Brunswick lacrosse is always looking for new players. If you're looking for a new niche sport,
let's go 3 sports,
mate.
Yeah.
Look, you wear helmets, concussions won't be a problem. It's fine. You've clearly, you've got enthusiasm. We thrive on enthusiasm, for sure. Harper said that you were still his favourite coach, even though you probably weren't that skillful. I mean, he didn't say the last part, but we thrive on unskilled. And it's great. And it's a niche sport, so not many people play it, so you don't have to be that skillful. It's great.
Another niche sport. Let's do it.
Add it to the list.
Now, guys, tell us about your footy podcast. So that came about just this year, so fairly recently. So, Adam, how did that come about, I guess? You already had the other podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of time on our hands, and we love talking about footy. And we had our Fox Footy show. We were hosting a show. When I say we're hosting a show, we hosted one episode of the show before it got put on hold because of all the restrictions. So we figured we'd just do something new for us anyway, and something that we thought didn't really, something that filled a hole in the market. So we, have a few game recaps at the start, try and interview a player, and then keep it very much how the fans talk about footy in the grandstand without any stats or analytical backup.
Yeah, fair enough. But the Fox Footy show, I was actually going to ask about that. I didn't know what was going on because you had like the one episode or whatever, and then it was just like gone. So, but how did you get approached for that? Was that like through your agent?
Yeah, so we'd done some work with Fox Footy with the longest kick because Gogglebox was on Foxtel, so they'd partnered up Foxtel and Fox Sports. So we did some work with Fox Footy there, and then met some people that work there, and then one of the senior editors there, Mike Hirschfield, actually approached us, and he'd listened to the podcast, and he said, "Look, I really like the way you guys communicate, and I like your tone. What I want to do is try to work a footy idea into there." So then he had the idea to create almost like a podcast type TV show. So you'd almost kind of film it and then release it as a podcast, but it'd also be a TV show. And it was that kind of concept, like talking about football legend stories, like, you know, getting blokes from the bush and talking about kind of crazy stuff. In the pilot episode, we actually interviewed a guy, John Anstey, who's a vet at Deniliquin, and he just had a wild story. So we were going to interview maybe one like person from the country and then one person from the AFL circles and kind of just get their stories and talk, because a lot of the stories are really similar, and that's like the best thing about sport and the best thing about footy is it doesn't matter what level you play at, it's all the same. The skill's obviously different, but like the teamwork and the camaraderie is all the same. So, and then it just grew and grew and grew into what became premierships and footy trips. And then look, we did one episode and we clocked it. So you don't need to do another one. He was like, nailed it, guys. TV show, tick. We're done.
Yeah, you reached the pinnacle getting Glenn Arch on that show, and it was just all downhill from there. So it's gone.
Exactly right. Shinboner of the century. You don't get, who was the runner-up in the Shinboner of the century? You don't get them on, do you? Like if you already got the first one, well,
go big or go home.
You don't need a second episode. So that's what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I think lots of people are going to be listening for Gogglebox, but there's a question I want to ask you about Gogglebox and sport together. I don't know, Jackson, do you watch Gogglebox or did you watch Gogglebox?
Yeah, I do. My partner loves it, so every week it's great.
Classic answer.
No, I do.
I watch it, mate.
No, I do genuinely like it, but we started watching it every week because my partner, and she just like got the Foxtel app and watched all the seasons, and then she's like, we have to watch it every week, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was going to ask, I know every year you watch the AFL Grand Final and the NRL Grand Final on Gogglebox. Do you watch that before and then watch it on, like, get filmed watching it after? Yeah,
so we generally watch it live, which it's fun to watch the football game. I remember we watched the game. Who played Fremantle? Remind me.
Hawthorn.
Yes. So we watched that one live, and it was an absolute pumping. So by halftime, we'd kind of gone, all right, well, we've got all the reactions we need, but we've still got half the show to go. And we're just getting Snapchats from our mates at the pub, having the best time ever because the game's over, so everyone's just enjoying themselves. And, that one was tough. That one was tough to watch. But generally, we will watch it live. Yep.
Yeah, it seems a bit weird, like just watching it, two people in a house instead of like a whole big get-together as the tradition is. So that must be a bit disappointing.
It takes away from it a little, like, because the whole point of AFL Grand Final Day is it's a day to celebrate with all your mates, which is why, again, this year will be a lot more different than previous years, because you'll only be able to watch it in your house with whoever you live with. So I think, the more people you watch the footy with, and if you're lucky to be in the 100,000 that are sitting in the stadium, it's even better, unless you're Jackson in 2018.
Yep, literally. I can't with that game. Harper mentions it like all the time when we see each other. But I honestly don't think I haven't watched it since, and I've only seen like the Dom Sheed thing, and that's it. Like that's all I've seen since in the last 2 years.
You should watch it.
That gets played like all the time.
And we had the umpire on the podcast who called the decision, the Shepherd decision, Brett Roseberry, and we spoke about that. Jackson was a bit heartbroken after that show. It was doesn't like the memories.
What did he say? What did he say about the Shepherd?
He was basically like, it wasn't like I called the right thing, and I was like,
yeah, and you're like, I will eternally disagree, and he's like, I will eternally disagree with you.
Yeah,
Simon, the episode was just Jackson going, it was a free, and Brett was going, it wasn't a free, and they just went back and forth for an hour going, it was. Well, it wasn't. Well, it was. It wasn't.
Yeah, Harper's just sitting there, and thanks everyone for watching. Thanks, guys. I've got to get out of here. Please stop it, boys. That's great. That was my Harper impersonation. You don't actually sound like that.
Yeah, nailed it. Spot on. Yeah. But,
and then we had when Essendon beat Collingwood this year, I walked into the room and Harper starts playing the Essendon theme song. That was a great moment.
That's why people hate Essendon supporters.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
That exact
all for their
reason,
social media content, you know. You got to get the brand out there, you know. Get a bit of
brand. It's for the brand, guys. It's for the brand.
Exactly.
No such thing as bad content.
Yeah, exactly.
Far out. That's so good. That's so good. You know what you should watch? You should just watch Jordan De Goey's goal in the final quarter. Just watch that on replay, Jackson. That'll make you happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm surprised Jackson hasn't ripped into me too much about last year's Anzac Day, because that Anzac Day was one of the most painful experiences of my life. I don't know if you two remember it.
Technically, I didn't watch it because I was overseas, and it was
were you?
so I missed it. I think I would have been in like Spain or Norway, one of those two, and I missed the game. I heard all the hubbub about it and listened to a Collingwood podcast about it, but I didn't actually watch the game.
It's also funny how you guys talk about Anzac Day as like this massive game, but for people who don't follow Essendon or Collingwood, like it's just it's just a game with a lot of people at. Like it doesn't mean anything more to the rest of us. No. It's just, but to you guys, and I fully appreciate that it's like the game and it's like Anzac Day. Who won that this year? But for me, couldn't care less.
For me, I call it round 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, tell us a bit about like the future your future plans for the podcast and the Adam and Symon Show and the Been Doing It All Day show. So what are your ambitions for that?
Well, I think the podcast, the aim is just to keep growing it. It's heaps of fun to make, and it's really only we spend a few hours once a week making it. So it's quite an easy thing to do. So, I mean, the more that grows, and obviously podcasting is moving bigger and is growing bigger and bigger, and listenership in terms of people listening to podcasts and subscribing and things like that. And someone told us that if you have someone who finds your podcast and then they go back and listen to all of your episodes, then you immediately have a new person that listens. And then a lot of it's something like 40% of podcasts are found by word of mouth. So our big thing is trying to engage our audience as much as we can. And because, I mean, it's fun talking to each other, but it's also fun to get other people along for the ride as well.
Yeah, and you've had some big names on the Been Doing It All Day show. You had Tom Lynch and some other big ones that don't immediately spring to mind, but what kind of buzz do you get from that? I know we get a big buzz from having big stars on the show. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think he's been doing it all day is really, it's kind of strange because the Adam and Symon Show, we're super, super passionate about it. It's got our names on the title, so we probably should be passionate about it. But then he's been doing it all day has become almost like the little hobby podcast. And it's just, it's really exciting when people engage with it and get excited about it. Like we had Zach Tui on, and we've got a little club on the podcast called the Hungry Hungry Hippos Goal Kicking Club, because we love the blokes that love kicking goals. We love those players who kick goals, and it started off with Aaron Hall. He refuses to give up the ball for anyone if he can kick a goal, and we were about it. Unapologetically about it. So then we were talking to Zach Tui and we explained what the club was, and it's got a little celebration, and then he did it on the field after kicking a goal, and like our phones are blowing up and we're talking back and forth, and it was fun, like really just really pure fun. Like it's not at the expense of anyone, and it's all celebratory, and I think that's why we're really enjoying that one at the moment. And it's just fun when you get guests on who kind of really buy in and they kind of get the vibe of it. That's been really exciting.
So I've got one last question before we move on to the quiz, I think a bit later. So footy fans, we all have like our favourite players. Who are your sort of cult heroes at the moment and back when you were watching footy as a younger kid?
Well, mine is, I'm an unabashed Hugh McCluggage, diehard Stan fan, whatever you want to call it.
Stan.
I think Huey is an absolute superstar. So I've got a running bet with a mate who is an equal level fan for Andy McGrath from your Bombers, Harper. And we have a bet that whoever wins a Brownlow first out of the two of them, there's like quite a hefty bottle of red wine on the line for that. So, Huey McCluggage is my boy at the moment. And then probably back in the day back in the Lions' heyday, it was more Simon Black. Yeah,
and Hugh McCluggage close to being an Essendon player, taking at pick 2, McGrath taking at pick 1, and it was like a 50-50 thing per the media in the build-up. But, yeah, and McGrath's turned out for us well, I reckon. I'm a big fan of his. I actually saw him at futsal in Thomastown, Jackson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was leaving training, I reckon it would have been a couple of years ago, and I was just walking out, and I see this guy, looks like Andy McGrath, and he's just walking in. I didn't say anything because I wasn't 100% sure. It's a bit weird. Are you Andy McGrath? No, I'm not. That would have been a bit weird. But then I saw on his Instagram, he's at Futsal Oz Thomastown, like supporting his brother or something. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. But Simon, who's your cult hero at North?
So at the moment, I'm a big Cam Zurhaar guy. I think he's the absolute future. I've put it out there right now, and you'll like this one, Jackson. I think Cam Zurhaar is a better version of Jordan De Goey. I think he's stronger. I think he's going to be better. That just, we don't. I don't want to have the discussion with you right now about it because
we'll have another time.
You won't convince me otherwise. No, I think he will be similar sort of player, big body. Just more of that pinch hit. Like he's not running the midfield all day. And have you ever seen anyone try to tackle him? It's never well. It doesn't go well for anybody. So he's my man at the moment, Cam Zurhaar. But back in the day, I kind of was like a Winston Abraham guy for a long time. Then I was a Byron Pickett guy for a long time. And then Daniel Wells more recently. He was my guy for a long time, Daniel Wells. But then I couldn't replace him. So Cam Zurhaar's really stood into the position this year. Like last year, I just went without a player, just went playerless.
Fair enough. I've got to say, so at the moment, me and my housemate, who's also a Collingwood supporter, we've started the John Noble Appreciation Society.
Good.
Very good.
I just love it. Just the fact that he came mid-season last year and just hit the ground running. I think he's only missed a handful of games since then, but he just always does the right thing for me at the moment. And then sort of a very cult hero for me in our premiership year in 2010 was Lee Brown.
Former North Melbourne player.
Exactly.
Lee Brown.
Oh, just the fact that he was just everywhere that year. Just when he came to us, everyone was like, who the fuck is this guy? And then the fact that he was a mainstay in our premiership team just spoke 1,000 words, honestly.
He was just the guy like, hey, Lee, can you do this? Yeah, no worries. Hey, Lee, we need you to do this. Yep, got it. Yeah. Hey, Lee, can you be this guy? Yep, no worries. Like everything. He was the ruckman. He was your centre-half back. He was your full forward. He's like, sure.
It was
no worries, guys. So good. How about you, Harper?
Oh, Sammy Draper this year has been... he's so good. Like, just everything about him, this 2-metre guy who can just, like, pluck it out of the ruck and do some, like, shit kick 60-metre forward. And it's, he's an absolute legend of the Dons already. He's probably one of our best players, and he's played, like, 5 games. So says something about our list at the moment. But
I honestly thought you would have said Andrew Phillips, to be totally honest, from that game against Collingwood.
Oh, yeah, but Sam Draper's overtaken him ever since he came in. He's been on fire.
He's got a ripping exhaust pipe for a haircut as well.
Oh, does he ever? Jesus, yeah.
I mean, so does Zurhaar. 2 of the 4 blokes that we've picked out have ripping haircuts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys. So we're approaching the end of the show, but if you've listened to the show before, we like to do a quiz at the end of the show. So I'm going to be hosting it, and it's Jackson against you boys. Individually, of course.
Yeah, we're individuals. Okay,
Yeah,
just checking.
So we've got 2 guests. We're going to double the amount of questions, 10 questions.
Oh my gosh, we're
10
not, are we?
questions with 2 guests. And we relate it a bit to you guys, but as you guys don't have a Wikipedia page as of yet, can't get too much information on you. So
Yes.
it's
Do
very,
we just
very
yell? Do we yell the answer, or are our names our buzzers?
Yeah, your name's your buzzer. Got to mention that
right.
as well. So we've got a Brisbane fan, a North fan, and a Collingwood fan here. So can you tell me, as of 3:30 p.m. on the 12th of the 9th, who is the leading goal kicker between Collingwood, North Melbourne, and Brisbane so far this year?
Adam Densten. It's got to be Charlie Cameron, doesn't it?
Charlie Cameron's correct. He's got 23.
There you go.
Yeah, but you never know. North's playing right now, so Todd Goldstein may have kicked 15 already. So
Yeah.
I was honestly trying to think how many checkers had scored this year, but I don't think it's that many, to be totally honest, because we can't kick straight.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Mate, let's not start talking about the Collingwood can't kick straight. You're talking to
Yeah,
Brisbane
seriously,
fan.
boys. It's just outrageous.
yeah. Question 2. So we've got Simon with a Y here. So have you heard of Donald Simon? Simon?
I have not heard of Donald Simon. Who's Donald
he's
Simon?
also a Simon with a Y as his last name. Donald Simon is a former New Zealand rower who won an Olympic bronze at the 1984 Summer Olympics.
It's amazing that I haven't heard of him. It's very strange.
Yeah. In which North American city were these Olympics held? 1984.
Simon.
Adam.
Los
just got
Angeles.
in. Los Angeles. Correct.
Bam.
Hey, fun fact about Los Angeles Olympics. 2028, we're going back to LA. Guess what sport's going to be in the Olympics, boys?
Lacrosse. It's
Lacrosse, my friends. See, then imagine how many obscure questions there'll be about lacrosse bronze medalists.
Yeah. Question 3. So this one's the closest to the pin one. So Adam, or maybe it's pronounced Adam, is a town in the region Ad-Dakhiliya in the northeastern region of Oman. So can you tell me, closest to the pin, what is the population of Oman?
Simon.
Simon.
6 million.
6 million?
I'll go 8 million.
I'll go 5,900,999.
Well, Adam's got 3-0 up because it's 5,133,391.
Far out. What a rat dog move.
That was such a rat dog move. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Oh, I should have gone early. Damn it.
All right, so question 4. Simon, your last name's Lovett, of course. So despite being on the list of 2 AFL teams, Andrew Lovett only ever played for 1. What was that team?
Jackson?
Adam.
Jackson just got in.
Was it the Bombers?
The Bombers was correct. He was a bit of a cult hero at the Bombers when he was there, I think. But Jackson is slowly inching back. Simon, a bit of work to do, mate. So we'll move on to question 5. Adam, the first syllable of your last name is dense. So a bit of a density-related question.
Brilliant.
So I'm going to give
This is my favourite quiz ever.
I'm going to give you 4 chemical elements, and I'm going to need you to rank them least to most dense. Okay, here we go. So the 4 elements are lead, gold, iron, and hydrogen. So
Adam.
least to most dense.
Adam.
Hydrogen,
the least dense. And then what was it? Lead, gold.
No, don't tell him. Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
well, okay.
No
Hey,
way.
whoa.
You don't get it again.
I remember what they are. So I'm going to go least dense is hydrogen. Next least dense is lead. Then the next... you just made me forgot him. God damn
Not
it.
my fault. Not my fault. Is that your final answer? 2? You only want to
No.
lock in 2?
So hydrogen, least dense, then lead, then iron, then gold.
It's incorrect.
Can we jump in if he's wrong?
Yeah, you can jump in.
Brilliant, Simon. I'll jump in.
Simon.
Hydrogen, gold, lead, iron.
That is also incorrect. Jackson, do you want to
Oh, no. Hydrogen, iron, lead, gold.
He's got it.
You're joking. Of course he's got it. You're sharing a Google draft. I hope he gets it.
Jackson, the chemist. He knows what he's doing.
Seriously.
He keeps the quiz from me. I've even got my phone on me.
Jackson's just showed everyone in the Zoom his phone, by the way.
Yeah.
It's in his hand.
All the
Jackson's
answers on it.
lying.
Yeah.
Bring the quiz into disrepute. Anyway, question 6. So, Adam, had to split.
Can I get a score check, sorry? Really quickly?
Score check. Yeah, Adam's on 3, Jackson's on 2, Simon is on...
So I've just got to get the next 4. Perfect. Easy.
Yeah, but question 10 has got a bit of a... you can get bonus points on question 10. I'll just leave it there. But question 6, so, Adam, the second syllable of your last name is 10, and the decathlon has 10 events. Name 5.
Simon.
Adam.
Simon just got in.
Damn it.
Wait, how specific do you want these events to be? Like, do you want the distance of the run? Yeah, run.
Yes. Yes, the distance of the run.
100 metres, 100 metre sprint, 110 metre hurdles, long jump, javelin, shot put.
Correct.
Thank you.
110 metre hurdles for the men and 100 metre hurdles for the women. So,
I thought we were talking men's decathlon, obviously. Sorry, guys.
Simon loves the niche stuff, so decathlon fits right into the next sport.
So the Olympics is my thing. Yeah, that's right.
Very niche.
anyway, the 10 events were, the 100 metre sprint, discus, pole vault, javelin, 400 metres, the hurdles, 100 or 110 metres, long jump, shot put, high jump, and 1,500 metres. But we'll move on to question 7. Boys, can you name this isn't the question, but what's the name of the Gogglebox narrator? Do you know?
Simon.
Yep.
Joe.
Is that a question?
Oh, no, that's not the official question, but it's Joe Van S. Or
Joe
Joe Van S.
Yep.
Yep.
So she's got a very short name for a person who's got 3 words in her name. So presuming Joe is her full first name, even though it's probably not, what is the average amount of letters per word in her name to 3 decimal places?
Simon. What? The average number of letters per word
in her name.
Well,
3 decimal places.
To 3 decimal places. Okay. Yep. Well, it would be 2.732.
That's incorrect.
That's way too high, Adam. 2 point. Is this the closest to again?
No, you got to get it spot on.
2.333.
Also incorrect.
2.33.
Oh, no.
Jackson?
2.150.
2.150 is also incorrect. I think Simon got closest. It's 2.667.
That's it, mate. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
No point. Just
No point.
No point.
He said you got to be closest.
Killing me here,
He said you got to be right.
Oh, no. Have I stuffed up the calculations? I think I have.
Yeah.
I've miscounted the amount of letters in her name, but I don't think
It's 2.3.
Nah,
As you
it's
said,
not moving
I
on.
got it right.
Nah, the quiz is moving on.
There's a point for me. How is that not right? Because you've gone.
Because we're on to the next question. Mate, this isn't the AFL. There's no challenge flag here. No, we're on to the next question. Harper,
There's 7 letters.
Harper,
7 letters in the name.
Harper, do not listen to him. Do not listen to him, and don't worry about it, mate. You're doing great. Keep going.
Adam,
Keep going.
7 letters and there's 3 names. 2.33, as I said.
Harper,
Bang on.
do not let
believe
the
you.
tail wag the dog here.
he's got the point because I can't count to 7.
Hell yeah, I've got the point.
No.
Thank you very much. That's 4 for me. Thank you.
How have I counted 8 as 7 is 8? Jesus Christ.
I think I'll win.
What's the score? Is it 4? Adam's on 4, Jackson
I'm on 2.
And
Am I on 2 or am I on 1? I think I'm on
you're
1.
on 1, I think, Simon. Don't get too cocky.
Yep,
mate.
you didn't get. Yep. 4, 2, and 1.
What question are we up to? 9.
We're up to question 8. So you've had 106 Adam and Symon Show episodes at the time of recording, I believe. What's 106 in Roman numerals?
Simon.
Adam.
I think Simon just got in.
Oh, bull! I heard myself say that before he said anything.
Mate, get some
my
good
end,
quality
Simon.
Wi-Fi, bro. That's not anyone's fault but your own. The decimal, the Roman numeral is C.
Yeah, decimal.
V.
Just decimal.
1.
CV1? Is that your answer?
No, incorrect. Incorrect.
Don't know.
CVI.
Incorrect.
It's CVI.
Yeah, Adam's got it.
CVI, not CV1. There's no ones in Roman numerals, you dumbass.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm liking this quiz less and less.
Adam's on 5, Jackson's on 2, Simon's on 1.
No, you said there's bonus points coming up.
But there are bonus points coming up.
You might have also just broken up the Adam and Simon show here, fellas.
Yeah, you got to get the brand out there.
Yeah. First episode of Gogglebox aired on the 11th of February 2015. So on the ARIA singles chart, which Omi or OMI song, remixed by Felix Jane, was number 1 on the 11th of February 2015?
Jackson.
Cheerleader is correct.
Yeah. Well done.
Good tune. Absolutely.
Well done, Jackson.
Hit of the song too.
Fuck, I've forgotten the scores. That decimal one's throwing me off. Is Adam on 5?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Adam's on 5, Jackson's on 3, Simon's on 1. So question 10, Jackson will know this. It's going to be a who am I question. So we're going to go.
This one's worth 5 points, I would assume.
Yeah, you can go down from 5 points all the way down to 1 point with a series of clues. And once you've buzzed in, you can't buzz in again until all the others get it wrong.
Yeah.
So Simon needs to answer this right at the 5-point level to win. And if he answers it at the 5-point level, he wins. Okay.
If he
Or
gets
I could get a
4.1,
draw
or get
if
a
I go for the
tie-break.
second one.
Yeah.
True.
We'll go to a tie break.
I have lost it on this question before, so be aware.
But you have won it from 2-0 down. You won 3-2, I believe. I think that was our most recent episode, actually. But anyway, for 5 points, I was born on the 1st of April, 1993 in Dartmoor, Victoria.
Jeremy Cameron.
Simon, that was incorrect. Damn it.
Yeah, boy, that's 5 points for Adam. 10 points. That was an absolute whitewash, fellas. That was,
Indeed.
I feel bad for you.
Jeez, I think Dartmoor's only got 150 people, so it can't be too many people. But well done to know Jeremy Cameron's from Dartmoor there.
On behalf of everyone that works on the Adam and Simon show, thanks to this, fellas. He'll be really humble with this all weekend. It'll be great.
Adam, that's quiz for the age. He's got 10 points from 10 questions. That's unbelievable. Even when I can't count to 7, he still managed to get the point. It's just remarkable, really.
Mate, he was,
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it is remarkable. You are right, Harper. I won't correct you on that. It is remarkable.
Yeah, well, you can't play sports anymore, but you can do quizzes, and that's clearly one of your strong suits. So
Concussion clearly hasn't impacted the old brain, fellas.
Yeah, well, boys, it's been a long one. So, Jackson, we happy to leave it there?
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Our pleasure,
Thanks,
guys.
fellas.
Our pleasure. Thank you for having us. It was very, very fun. I like the
Very
quiz. Well, I mean, I didn't like it, but I liked it, if you know what I'm saying.
Harper does do a good one, honestly.
That was a good quiz.
It makes you
That was a
think.
good quiz. Well done, Harper.
Well,
done.
that's what it's intended for. So, thank you guys for coming on, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, fellas.
Thanks, guys.
And we're back, Harper. How good was that, mate?
Oh, Adam and Simon, a couple of legends. Great chat. Love a bit of chat about footy on the podcast. Yeah, very casual thing. Laid back guys. Great to talk to.
Yeah, definitely. Tell us how you like this episode, if you've gone the whole way through it. Yeah, tell us how you liked it. It's a bit different to normal, as we said in the intro. But yeah, thanks again to the guys for coming on.
Yeah, it was awesome. But if you do want to tell us what you thought of this episode, our socials, we're on Twitter and Instagram at WDWBpod. That is WDWBpod. We're also on Facebook. Where can people find us on Facebook, Jackson?
Yeah, just search where do we begin with a question mark, and we'll hopefully pop up.
Yeah, or just go to facebook.com/WDWBpod. We've got Patreon as well if you want to hop on board that and give us a little bit of financial support and reap the great benefits we've got on there. We're patreon.com/WDWBpod. And you can also email us, where do we begin pod@gmail.com. And some people who have emailed us in the past, The Rooms, they came on the show a few weeks ago.
Yeah, big friends of the show.
Yep. We featured their music last week, I believe, and we're going to feature their music again because they've got a new single that came out on Saturday, just 2 days ago if you're listening on Monday, What's it called, Jackson?
And that signal is called Big Bam Boom. And they did sort of say they were working on something and this was going to be released. So it's great to hear it on this show.
Yeah, and if you want to hear a bit of a chat with them that we had about a month ago now, I reckon, go listen to WDWB Extra 2, and we featured their music last week, but we're doing it again this week because they've got a brand new single. So thanks very much for listening. Make sure give us a 5-star review, tell all your mates, and here it is, The Rooms with Big Bam Boom.
just me and you.